Good morning. Welcome to the next episode of Wicked Recovery. According to my sobriety tracker, I have been sober for 3 months, 1 week, and 6 days. Yay. It's been a pretty good week. Actually, that's a total lie. Last week sucked. Sucked ass. But I spent the weekend recovering from last week, which will lead me to my tip. My tip for this week is to remember what brought you joy before the addiction, before the habit that became an addiction. For some of us, it may be childhood. What did you love to do when you were a kid? What brought you joy? What did you do when you were unhappy to cheer yourself up before the addiction? So I could go back to childhood, or I could even go back to my teens and very early 20s, because I wasn't an alcoholic. I didn't have alcoholic behaviors until I was in my late 20s. And the things I did for joy back then, I was creative. I was a lot more creative. I would say one of the things I lost through alcoholism that I'm trying to regain is creativity. Unlike so many of you, I don't have fine motor skills. I cannot draw or paint or even color all that fantastically. However, but I still like to create. So I was really big into scrapbooking back when creative memories was all the rage. Again, in the that was the late 90s. I made scrapbooks for my 2 oldest kids when they were little babies. And I would spend hours and hours gluing and cutting and creating. And guess what? That's what I just did this whole weekend. But I'm not doing scrapbooks anymore. I worked on my BOS, Book of Shadows, which is in a scrapbook form. So full circle, it's coming all back, right? I have to say, I've been working on this Book of Shadows for 3 or 4 years now, but the pages I have done since sobriety have been my most favorite pages, which is kind of funny because while I was still in the middle of my addiction and justifying it, I used to not work on my Book of Shadows much at all. And if I did, I felt like I needed to have a little bit of a buzz, because then I wouldn't overthink it and I would just be creative, and sometimes, throw a splash of something on it. Sometimes that turned out nice. Sometimes that turned out looking like crap. Shocking, right? So you would have thought, or I would have thought, that being stone cold sober all the time would limit my creativity, but it doesn't. It's opened it up. I had the rare, blessed opportunity this weekend to have the whole house to myself for 2 days, and had a lot of grand plans. Did a few of them, but I didn't do any plans that required putting on clothes or makeup and getting in a car. All my plans, I just hung around the house. I worked on my Book of Shadows. I organized my house again. I've been throwing in some feng shui, however you want to say it, feng shui, that stuff. I've been, let me just say, I love what I did. I love what I did this weekend. And the body aches I was having last week from stress, I realized this morning they're mostly gone. So usually those aches only go away if I do some hardcore meditation, but they went away just from being creative. Back on point. Find what brought you joy before your addiction, or before you realized your addiction. If your addiction is eating, if you are working with that, it's probably a little bit of a different experience, but at the same time, what did you do when you were a little kid before that sad awareness came into, oh no, I might have an eating problem, or oh no, I'm putting on weight that I don't want, and I'm suddenly not liking myself as much as I used to. There was a time when you were little you did like yourself, I'm guessing, I'm hoping. And wow, that was a weird choice from that car. Go back and see. And even if you don't know or don't remember, maybe you had a horrible childhood. I hope not, but a lot of people do. At least half of all people, I think, probably do. Then discover now. Give yourself that childhood now that you didn't have. Take a bubble bath. Finger paint. Make something. Create something. Sing and dance. So much awesomeness. Okay. That's it for my tip. I don't have a book recommendation or even a podcast recommendation. I do want to recommend or to share an artist that has been around for a while, a singer. Donna DeLore, I believe is her name. I only discovered her in August after my meditation pilgrimage retreat thing that I've mentioned before. And I bought a few songs by her, and this weekend I really embraced that music and listened to it, and it took me to an intoxicated kind of feeling, kind of place, but from a natural rhythmic high, and it was incredible. And I realized I really do need to look into drumming or something to take me to a different consciousness that's healthy, because that is what alcohol did for me. It was an escape, but it also took me somewhere I felt like a higher consciousness or whatever. This was a little scattered today, and I apologize. I will put a link below to Donna DeLore. She has some YouTube videos out there just playing her music, and she's a goddess. I think her music, I love it. Have a wonderful week. Reply below if you ever want to, if you ever have any suggestions or thoughts or comments. And share this with anybody who you think might benefit. This may not have been the best of all these videos, but whatever. If you know anyone who is struggling or trying to create a better life without whatever their addictive substance was, I would love for you to share these. Okay. I love you. Peace.